All right, today was a very exciting day. So you can see all the dahlia seedlings. So here's one tray of them all the way down and over onto those pallets over there. These are all dahlia seedlings and they're coming outside to harden off. So rather than taking our seedlings and taking them from the greenhouse and planting them directly into the field, we take them through this process called hardening off, where we are helping them get adjusted to outside temperatures, variable weather, things like that, so that they aren't totally stressed out when they go in the ground. So let's look at these little babies. So these are a dahlia I collected from Bloomquist Golden, which is a dahlia variety that I got from Triple Wren, and I collected seed off of it. And we sowed these on 3/29, so the end of March, and look at how big and beautiful they are. And if I pull one of the plugs out, you can see that they're already starting to form a little tiny baby tuber. Is that so cute? So yeah, these guys are, so all of April, yeah, we've got, I mean, they're 6-8 weeks old, doing super well, and they're just about the stage I would normally transplant them out. So if you started yours earlier and they are farther along, you could pot them up, say into a 4-inch pot or a gallon, let them grow a little bit more. But we're going to plant these directly into the garden, into the field. They don't need to be bumped up at all, but you can see there's all kinds of them. Let's see who this one is. It's from C37, which that's a breeding variety. So a lot of these, I'm doing some different experiments, crossing different varieties, seeing what we get, but there's a lot of beautiful babies. Let's see, I just love pulling them out of the tray. Yeah, look at that one. See that? There's already a little tiny tuber starting to form. So with these guys, so before we harden off, there's a couple things we try to do. So we have this space over here is pretty insulated. We've got big greenhouses over there. We've got a bunch of like hoops around, so it's going to help slow down the wind. So it's a more protected space than say out in an open field. And we chose it specifically for this. And then we also looked ahead at our long-term forecast. So dahlias or cosmos or marigolds or zinnias, any of our like tender kind of, summer annuals, those types of things, they can't handle any kind of frost. And so we wait to even harden these guys off till all danger of frost is past. And we know that our long-term forecast is saying that we're not going to get too cold. So our nights are now in the lowest they're going to get are the high 40s, but more like in the 50s. So we try to wait until nights are above 50 and then all danger of frost is past. So yeah, dahlias are out here, they're hardening off. And then let's look over here. We've got more dahlias. We've got different pin cushions, straw flowers. I'm working on trying to select a champagne color of poor man's orchid. I want just one single color. Lots of cosmos. I'm going to try doing some cosmo breeding this year, and a bunch of marigolds and stuff. So it's like the earliest summer annuals are out here. Now, another thing when you're hardening stuff off, you don't want to set your trays directly onto the ground, because you'll find that slugs and snails are hanging out in the ground. They'll just want to creep into your trays, and then also mice will come and eat seeds and that kind of thing. So what we do is we build a simple little setup where we just take bulb crates, flip them upside down, and we have 4 of them, and then we just put a pallet on top because we have lots of bulb crates and we have lots of pallets, and it's just using something that we have for free. And then you can see underneath there is that black landscape fabric, which helps the grass not grow up through and be weedy. But the plants will hang out here. We like to harden them off for about 10 days if we can. A week is nice, but I would say a minimum, you want to give them at least 3 to 4 days of being able to be outside in their trays, getting used to the weather before you put them into the garden. And then if you're a gardener, like say in Texas or Southern California, and you started your seeds indoors, you've been growing them under lights, the thing you're gonna wanna watch for is like sunburning, because it's so hot and it's so sunny outside. And so that's something you're gonna wanna keep an eye on when you bring them outside. And then if you're in a colder climate, say you're in Michigan or Minnesota or even Eastern Washington or something, you're gonna wanna watch for hail or early frost, that kind of thing. So you're just gonna, once you bring them out here, you want to keep babying them and keep an eye on them and check on them, just because they're still, they're still like your little sweet babies, and we want to make sure that they're safe and they're happy as they're making that transition from inside to out in the garden. So that's kind of how the process is done. So yeah, most of these guys will go into the field, I'd say 10 days or 2 weeks. I can't believe it's that time of year already, and we just started planting what we call the Shire, these hoops. We started planting the first zinnias yesterday.